My name is Ahmed Al Awadhi. I'm from the Kingdom of Bahrain. Just a background of my history. I used to work at a hotel as a director of protocol and diplomatic sales. I started my first aquarium around 30 years ago. It was a very simple aquarium, around 50 centimeters, little sand and some fish. I had not much experience back then, not many resources available at that time, and therefore I just worked on what I had and what was available in my country. As time progressed, information became much more available. With social media, with YouTube, with other forms of communication, I got more knowledge to get more advanced into it. Unfortunately, I had to leave for a while because of my work commitment. But then a few years ago, I came back and I invested more time into more aquascaping than just fish keeping. And I'm not a fish keeper. The fish I keep are complementing what I do in my tanks. So here we start by answering your questions. I'm very thankful for Miklo's invitation. I'm very thankful for you adding me to your group. I'm very thankful for this opportunity to talk about my favorite hobby. Your questions were, as I have mentioned or written them down on my other mobile. Sorry, I'm looking at my other mobile. Let me see what I could do. I'm still not struggling, but I'm still looking at the setup of my mobile so I could add more people to it any which way I can. So I hope everything is working accordingly. Nicholas has sent me messages on my messenger on the other phone, so I'm looking at that as well. Your first message was nature Iwagumi, Wabikusa, nano and big aquariums, so many different types. If I had only one option, what would I go for? Nature aquarium. I love nature. I love plants, greenery in my tank. I love to work with rock, especially rock. I've done a lot of tanks using driftwood and rootwood, but always I go back to rock again. So nature aquarium is my favorite. Your second question was, who's my idol? Every aquascaper's idol across the board, around the globe, if you will ask them who's his idol aquascaper or idol nature aquariumist or idol hobbyist within our hobby, everybody will say Takashi Amano. He taught the whole world. He taught me a lot of things personally as I followed him and follow every move he make. But as things progress, Takashi will be everybody's idol. Yet again, there are other favorites who come up along the way. Like Oliver Knott is my second favorite. He's very open-minded. He's a rebel, as he says, and he is within his profession. He is a rebel. And the creativity he makes and the invention he adds. So I do follow him a lot, and he's my second favorite. And there are, not disrespect to anybody else, there are great aquascapers around the world, and each and every one of them has his strength and has his followers, and I'm following everybody. But just to close the circle, I do follow a lot those two gentlemen, late Takashi Amano, God bless his soul, and Oliver Knott. Your third question was, what soil do I like better, active or substrate or sand? I work with both. AD Amazonia is my favorite. I think it's everybody's favorite, but it's my favorite, especially for planted tanks. It is because of all this goodies it has within it. It is because of all this nutrient that comes with it. It's the complete substrate or soil that everybody likes or uses. Unfortunately, some people fail to handle it. It is like the Lamborghini for the Italians or the Ferrari. It is very strong, and some people do fail to handle it, and they end up with issues in the tank, especially with algae. I had some issues in the past. I know how to handle it now. I follow the book of cycling my tank, doing water change, controlling the lighting and CO2, and thank God. I mean, this issue had stopped a lot. But Amazonia is my favorite. Sand, I do use it, but I use it more to do path, to do things with it within the planted aquarium. And I also did some tanks for my friends with sand only as they wanted it. So both are a favorite, but the ADA Amazonia is my first favorite. By your opinion, or by my opinion, what are the most common mistakes people do in the tank maintenance to avoid by experience? I have a lot of experience with that. In fact, as I said, I started my first aquarium 30 years ago. Back then, this complication wasn't there, but there were still problems with the tanks back then. There were still algae in the tanks, even though we're not using Amazonia, but there were still a lot of algae that I was handling. And back then I used to carry the tank all the way to the bathroom, wash it and bring it back. Now we know that by doing that we're killing the tank actually and all the beneficial bacteria within it. But with my experience and the tanks I did for my friends and for so many other people, that it is the tendency of impatience. A lot of people are impatient. They want to add fish as soon as the tank is done. I did a tank like 10 days ago for somebody, and I told him by the book, give the tank at least 3 weeks, let the ammonia come out, do this, do that. Next day he posts a picture of the tank full of fish. Within a week's time, all his fish died. And he had started this algae bloom that hasn't stopped until I went and solved it for him again. So number one issue with new tanks that people are impatient. They want to add fish as soon as possible. They don't follow the rules of maintaining any tank. By water change, by controlling the lighting, by not adding too much food, by not adding too much fertilizer. All these elements will affect the water, and you'll end up with issues that you cannot handle. And I also witness people who, in fact, they cancel this hobby because they cannot handle it. They came too fast, and then they had to stop and go back again. What LED do I use, or what led me to freshwater aquariums instead of salt water, which are very popular in my hometown? Yes, especially my home, my country is an island. It's not tropical, it's not Hawaii, but it is an island, and we're surrounded by sea from everywhere. And I grew up going to fishing, swimming, friends here and there, all around the sea. But sometimes you go to the opposite way. We also have beautiful gardens. My country used to be called the country or the land of 1 million palm trees. We had, or we used to have before much more, we had a lot of freshwater springs. Not rivers, but freshwater springs. So we had a lot of water available within my country. So that was also there, but being an island surrounded by sea, I wanted to go to the opposite, to greenery. Because we are also being part of this part of the world. We are also like a desertous country. So greenery is something that we look for everywhere. So, and most of us, as soon as he owns a house or he buys a house and he has that spot of land, he starts planting it. He will think of planting more or before thinking of building something else. So that was one. The beauty of the planted tank, the freshwater tank, the options I have to work with in the freshwater tank compared to the salt water, the obstacles of the salt water opposite to the easiness of the freshwater. I had also witnessed people who, for instance, for some reason they had a power failure for half an hour and their tank just died. Their saltwater tank died. The fish died. The corals died. Everything in the tank got spoiled. But I had issues with electricity as everybody else. I had disturbance with it. I had like 8 hours no electricity. My tanks are fine. It did nothing change, or they were better when I started off again. So, that has a great effect, and that also the ease of handling the tank also led me